What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome to my Sunday bonus video where, as always, we are going to be going through my entire eyeshadow palette collection and pulling the 4 palettes that y'all will have to choose from for my upcoming Throwback Thursday video. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into this. As always, make sure that you head over to my community section so you can cast your vote for the palette that you want to see. And starting on the top row right here, we have my Nomad, Cosmic Beauty, and Adept palettes. They just don't fit in my drawers below, and actually they look really pretty kind of displayed up here. So that is where these live, and if I'm being completely honest, I don't think there's anything really over here that I am kind of thinking of playing with it right now. I do want to play with the what is it, the Ireland Wild Atlantic Way palette, but I want to play with this like closer to St. Patrick's Day because it's an Irish holiday, it's a green palette, it just kind of goes hand in hand. So let me see, can I get this back in here with one hand? There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Do I want to pull anything from up here? I don't think that I do. I do have a couple of palettes that were requested. We'll get to those in a minute. So technically we're only picking out 2, but we're still going to go through everything. So let's go ahead and move to this drawer right here. If I can get some of this out of the way. All right, so this drawer has my Unearthly, my Fantasy Cosmetica, and then I have these right here, which are going to be Gloss Gods. And trying to think if there's anything in here that I want to pull for this month, for this week. I'm trying to think of the color stories that are in here and kind of what I'm feeling right now. Let's pull Spring Magic. This one's really pretty. It's a really fun spring color story, and this one's a little different for the brand. So we're going to go ahead and pull that one. So we have our first palette pulled. Let me put the rest of these back in this little drawer right here so we can move on to our next drawers. Well, hello. This is not the easiest thing to do with one hand. I will give it that. It takes a little bit of maneuvering. Plus, I'm going to have to rearrange myself anyways. So, I'm going to put all this back, and I will see y'all at the next drawer. Okay, so next drawer down is going to have my Bella Beauty Bar and my Odin's Eye palettes, and right here on top is the Ultraviolet palette in collaboration with Deandra Nicole. And one of you had mentioned last week that you would love to see some looks with this palette, so this is one that we are going to be pulling. This is one of the ones that will absolutely be an option for y'all. It's a non-negotiable this week, so we're going to pull that one. I just love that palette so much. I know it's monochromatic purple, but purple is my absolute favorite. So I don't think we're going to pull anything else from this drawer. Maybe one week we could do like a brand and just have 4 palettes from one brand to vote on. That could be kind of fun as well. But we're going to, I think, skip Odin's Eye as well. Maybe. Do I want to play with this palette? This one's really pretty, and honestly, I have not played with this palette since I reviewed it, actually, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. It was one of those color stories. I was really excited about it, and then I got it in person, and yes, it's really pretty, but it didn't excite me quite as much. So maybe I should pull it and see if I can like get inspired by this palette a little bit. So we're gonna pull that one out as well, and then we're gonna move on to the next drawer down, and this one is going to be all of my Sea Beauty. We've got Titanium Foxes, and then we have Blend Bunny back there as well. And I think we're probably gonna skip this drawer as well. Yeah, I've got all of my Naremi, my Anthony, we've got Dramo, Girl Cult in here, Cheery Up or Kenyon, whichever one you prefer to call it. We've got Shall We, and then we have my Cryptine palettes right there as well. These 2 are from Color Rose, and then these are Girl Cult as well. And I think maybe, you know which one, since we're talking about palettes that I didn't find to be nearly as inspiring as other people did, what about the Longing palette? Like this one, so many people love this palette, and I look at it and I'm like, it's really pretty, but I wish we had a little something more, and I don't know what that something more would have been. I feel like those 2 rows in the center with the greens in them are just a little repetitive. I don't know what it is, but we're going to pull this palette. I'm trying to kind of inspire myself to use some of these. Some of the ones that I don't get quite as excited about. I mean, I always want to use my palettes, but anyways, let's move on to the next drawer down. All right, so here we are in the next drawer, and in here we have my Glamlight, Glaminatrix, Lethal. I think we've even got, yes, we do. We have Wicked Widow back up under here. And do I want to pull anything from in here? I'm trying to think what all is in here before I start pulling everything out. This one's really pretty. Maybe we could pull this one from Lethal. This one was, what was this one called? I don't remember the name of this one. Something Grove. Mellow Grove? Is that what it was? Maybe. I don't know. Let's go ahead and pull that one. And then I think we're going to skip the rest of this drawer. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to skip the rest of this drawer, at least for now. Let me get this back in here. Some of this fits in such a particular way that it can be a little difficult. But even looking over here at Glamlight, I think we're going to skip out on Glamlight as well. So, all right, next drawer down, we've got Gourmande Girls, Ladybug Glow, Simply Posh, Blairdale MUA, and Sugar Drizzle back up under there. And let's see here. These are so pretty. What do we want to pull, if anything? I think this might be another drawer that we're going to, ooh, wait, hold on. Do I want to pull this palette? I love this palette. Look at how bright and fun this palette is. But with the weather that we have going on right now, I'm just not feeling the bright, fun looks. Like, I don't normally let seasons kind of tell me how to do my makeup, but there's something about like these cold, wet, dreary days that we've been having that I'm just like kind of blah right now. I need a mood booster, but I just don't think that's going to do it. So, let's just move on to the next drawer down. So this next drawer down is going to be ColourPop, Melt, Cleona, CXC, and then we've got Lunar Beauty back here. And you know what? I want to pull the Moonshroom palette. I was actually thinking of this one a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, I haven't played with that palette in such a long time. And look at how beautiful this is. It's definitely more on like the grungy neutral side, but these little pops of color right here, I just absolutely adore in this palette. And this was one of my top palettes of 2024. So we're going to go ahead and pull that one. And we haven't gotten to the other palette that was requested yet, but we're getting there, I promise. But I'm thinking maybe that's it for now. Yeah, that's going to be it for this drawer. So I did do some rearranging. Normally this is my drawer that's like super chaotic and like chocked full of just random palettes, and I told y'all last week I was going to rearrange some things to make it a little bit easier for me and less underwhelming, and I did. So this is now like my singles drawer. So I have all of my singles that are magnetic, not in pots, right here, and then I have my single eyeshadows back there, and then this right here is like mascara overflow. So it's got my backup mascaras in it and ones in it that I've already tested that I'm just hanging on to. Why, I don't know, don't ask me at this point. So I just wanted to show you all that really quick, but we're gonna move over to this guy over here where the rest of my palettes are. Okay, starting in this drawer, we have all of my Natasha Denona, we've got Danessa Myricks, Pat McGrath, and then back there is all of my luxury quads and smaller palettes. So I think we're gonna skip this drawer. We usually do. I kind of like to do my luxury in like a separate kind of thing, so maybe we'll do another luxury high-end Throwback Thursday very, very soon. It's just really hard to compete with indie brands. I feel like indie is always going to win out, at least in my heart. I do love everything. I just love makeup in general, and I love different brands for different reasons, and I do have a special place in my heart for luxury formulas, but you know, indie is just, it's so special. But let's move on to the next drawer down. So this one is going to look a little different as well. So this was the bottom drawer over here, and I did take out some of my older palettes that I am not going to reach for. I strictly have them for makeup memories, like my Too Faced I Want Candy. I have the Tati Beauty Volume 1. I've got the old Jaclyn Hill palette. Just things like that that are really, really old and I don't want to play with anymore. Like I'm not going to reach into them. I took those out to save some space, and look at this. So much space for activities, y'all. We can do so much fun things things in this drawer. I'm really excited about this, but let's move on because one of the palettes that was requested is in this drawer, and it's this one right here, the Midsummer palette from Alter Ego. I had contemplated pulling this one last week. This is a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau palette. I had to think about that for a minute. I don't have that one, but I have this one. It's the same color story, so whether you have this one or you have the ABH version, you can still get inspiration with it. It really comes down to formula and the fact that I have the more affordable version of that palette. So this is one that we are going to pull, and then I think for the rest of this drawer, we're going to be good. I also have this one from Alter Ego. I only have 2 palettes at this point. This one is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold palette, the original one. I never got my hands on that one. I do have the golden palette, but this one is just such a beautiful color story. I love the neutrals with the pops of teals in here, and I wish that she had kept the pops of teals in the gold palette. I really don't understand why she didn't, or the golden palette. The golden one is the newer one, right? Yes. Anyways, I wish she had kept the pops of teals for the newer version because I felt like it just gave it that much more personality and made the color story that much more special. But I do have this one because I love it. I had 2 other Alter Ego palettes and I ended up giving them to a friend because they were color stories that just didn't really call my name. I think I had the one for, oh, what was it? The one for one of the Huda Beauty palettes, the pink one, Rose Quartz. I had that one, and then did I have another one? Maybe I didn't have another one. I don't know. I remember at some point I had more than just the 2, but let's move on. So I think we are going to skip the rest of the drawer. At some point I want to play with this palette, but I just know it's not going to win stacked up against these other ones. So let's move on to the final drawer down. All right, y'all, so this drawer right here is what used to be that bottom drawer over there. And if you remember when I went through it, I always kind of quickly rushed through it because it was just such a disaster. But look at this, y'all. Oh my gosh, I can see everything. I do still have some that are stacked up back here because I couldn't fit them this way. They were just too tall, but this is so much easier to see everything that I have, and I am so happy with the way this turned out. So the palettes that I have back here are my Jolie Beauty palettes. I have the Ace Beauté Palettopoli palette, my Beauty Bay palettes, and then I have this one from Notoriously Morbid, and then of course I have my 2 back here from Shroud with Betty Bean, the It's Freakin' Bats, and what's the other one called? I can't think of Halloween. I couldn't think of what it was called. Those are back there, but everything else I can see clearly what I have, and this makes me so happy. Y'all have no idea. So let's go through this now that I can actually go through this drawer right here. So the sad thing is I don't think I'm going to pull anything from in here. I also ended up, I wanted to show you, scraping out that one shade in this Clarity palette. It just kept getting messier and messier, and when I was moving everything around, it completely exploded on me. So yeah, I still have the rest of the palette. It is a gorgeous palette, but that was one of my favorite shades in that one, so a little bit of a bummer. But is there anything in here that we want to play with today? I am thinking maybe no. Where is, what about this one from Rebel Rouge Labs? Nobody talks about Rebel Rouge Labs. This is actually the only palette that I have from the brand, and I bought it strictly because it is a Labyrinth themed palette, which is one of my favorite movies in the entire world. But this is a beautiful color story, and the formula in here is really nice. I want to pull this one. I just want to play with it. I haven't played with it in so long, like I said, and it's got some really pretty tones in it. Yes, it's very neutral leaning, but you get a little pops of color in here. So we're going to pull this one, and I think that's going to be the last palette that we're going to pull. So let me get all the palettes together and kind of spread out so we can go through them and dwindle it down because we already have 2 final choices. So it really comes down to 2 more palettes. Alright, y'all, so these are the other 6 palettes that I pulled to choose from. Keep in mind we do already have these 2 right here that are already in the palettes to vote for the week. So we have 6 and we need to eliminate 4 of these, so we only have 2 choices. And this is a really interesting mix if I'm being completely honest. So let's kind of open these up. I did that last time and it was super helpful because it just gave me a good visual of the color stories, and it was nice to see what was going to inspire me in that moment. So let me open up every single one of these really quick. It's not hard because it's only the 6 palettes. So this is what we have to work with. And I'm looking at this, and these are all absolutely beautiful, but I think we're going to put Odin's Eye away. I'm just not feeling that color story right now. And honestly, I think it's kind of down to these 3 right here. Like, this one's beautiful, but we're not quite in spring yet. I do want to save that more for spring, and in case you're someone who likes to let the seasons kind of give you inspiration for how you do your makeup. So I think we're going to set that one aside. And then let's see here. I kind of want to play with this one just because I want to love it. I want to feel inspired by it. The formula is incredible. I love Blend Bunny's formula. It's just the color story just doesn't do it for me. And it's not so much because it's cool toned. Like I said, it's really these 2 columns right here. I wish we had something a little different, but that's just me because I know a lot of people love this palette. So maybe we're going to put this one away from Lethal. And then there were 3. And out of these 3, what do I want to do? I'm kind of thinking these 2 right here, but then I really want to play with this one as well. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. This is a really, really hard choice. Okay, let's see what we already have pulled. So we have this one pulled already. And then we also have this one pulled as well. So maybe now that I'm looking at that and I'm seeing that we have an all purple palette and there's purples in here, maybe we'll put Blend Bunny away and save that for another week. And then we'll have these 4 palettes right here to choose from. I think that sounds good. I think that is the plan. So let's put this one away, and then these are going to be the 4 palettes that y'all have to choose from. So up first we have from Lunar Beauty the Moonshroom palette. Absolutely gorgeous. Love this color story in here. I love that it's like neutral grunge with a twist. And then of course we have the Midsummer palette from Alter Ego, also known as Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau. Very, very pretty. And then, of course, from Bella Beauty Bar in collaboration with Deandra Nicole, we have the Ultraviolet palette. I just love this one so much. It's gorgeous. It's an absolute favorite in my collection. And then the last one that we have is from Rebel Rouge Labs, and this is the As the World Falls Down palette. Let me know how many of you actually have this palette in your collection. I think I've only run past a couple of people that picked this one up. I know this isn't a super popular brand, but I want to know if anybody else out there has this palette. But that is going to be your 4 palettes that you are going to have to choose from for this week. So as always, make sure you head over to my community section so you can cast your vote for the palette that you want to see. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to click the notification bell. And until my next video, have a good one. Bye.